live this morning. My name is Lisa Dublin. I'm a health and life coach, and I help people to live, to lead, and to speak with confidence. Because you know what? You need confidence to make a decision and make it right. I heard this listening to one of my favorite podcasts a couple days ago on Patreon, I think it is, and that is the S2S podcast. And I mean, these guys have just been just so instrumental in my own life. Et, CJ, and the gang Carl, just talking about personal development and inspiration. And CJ was talking about it doesn't even matter what decision you make. You just make a decision and you make it right. Okay. And you need confidence for that. So I always help clients to be able to be like, what's the decision that you want to make? Okay. How are you going to make it? And then to walk in that decision and to, not look, just have blinders on. That's what actually gets the work done. Before we get into talking about boundaries part two, remember this exercise from yesterday? I actually found the wheel. So we're going to talk about that today, right? Before we get into that, though, let us do our confessions. I am blessed and highly favored, above only and not beneath, the head and not the tail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall lend and not borrow. I have nothing missing and nothing broken. Doesn't that just give you a feeling of confidence, a feeling that, you know what? It doesn't matter what comes today. Me and God, we kind of going to solve it together. It's going to be a great day. So welcome, whether you're listening to me, the diamond in the To All the Girls Success Club, whether you're listening to me on my personal Facebook page or on IG, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, welcome to our show today. And I want to actually start with just a recap of what we did yesterday, looking at, what exactly are boundaries. So let me just share my screen for the benefit of those on LinkedIn, on Facebook, everywhere else except IG. IG, just bear with me. Coming to you. Okay, remember this from yesterday? A boundary doesn't tell someone else what to do, it tells them what you will do. And this is from the book of Boundaries by Melissa Urban. I've got another quote from her today. And I love this quote because it does a couple things. It frees people to be themselves. It's not a matter of what they do, it's a matter of what you have decided that your reactions will be, how far you will go, where you will stop, where you will start. All of these things make up what you decide are your boundaries. And here's another thing. You know what? Hold a minute. I don't think I put on. Okay, it is on. Okay, no problem. Let's go. Yesterday I gave the illustration and let me just stop sharing now so we can get into it. I gave this illustration, okay, to signal, okay, let's say this is who you are. Boundaries are so dependent on your identity that if I've decided that this is who I am, there are certain conditions and certain guidelines that dictate what I can and cannot take, what I will allow, what I want. Okay, so if the identity is firm, if the identity has been set very deeply and very firmly, then here's what happens. Remember this from yesterday? Okay, this can go in, Sharpie can go in, a pen can go in. All right. Okay. What else? What else do I have here? Okay, these things are okay because they fit within the limits of my identity. They are within my boundaries. Let me take this out. Now, I wanted to take it further yesterday, but then I secured my ab wheel somewhere and I couldn't find it, but I found it today. You guys, this exercise is hard. Do you guys do this? Oh my goodness. Like I do this on a Sunday in particular. Like that's the day, the hard day. But an ab wheel is just hard to do, but it definitely works, gives you definition. But here's what we're going to use it for today, for illustration purposes. So this is who I am. And I've decided that these are my boundaries. Instagram, are you here with me? Let me just check to make sure that everything's going well. Let's see. Hang on, give me 1 second. Let me see if I'm actually on Instagram. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. Okay. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Not sure it's happening. Let me know if you can see me. Okay, there I go. I think we are online. Give me 1 second, Instagram. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay. So here's what happens, right? And we have a comment this morning. Hey Christy. Hi Christy. Looks well from your okay. Thank you so much for that. Looks well from my end. Okay. Thanks for that. So let's say you have decided these are your boundaries. Now look at this ab wheel, right? This is your identity. Your identity dictates how deeply felt and how deeply realized your boundaries are. But here's what happens, okay? Part of this wheel can fit in, but part of the wheel can't, okay? And this is where, look at this. So, part of, let's say it's a person, a situation, an activity, let's say it's a career choice, or what else could it be? Maybe even a friendship that doesn't quite fit into your boundaries. At the part where it is most significant, it doesn't fit. You know what that recognize that hey Natalie, you know what that kind of illustrates, you guys? You know when you say somebody has everything but, okay? I like everything else, but the part that is most important to me. And so sometimes the but is not that important. But if it is that the thing in the activity, right? Let me just, this is for illustration purpose. So it can't fit into the boundaries. Some part of it can, but the whole of it can't. The part that you most need to fit really can't fit. What are you going to do? It doesn't fit in. Okay, let me put this down and hope my dog doesn't come take it. It probably will. But let's talk, you guys. Right? Thank you, Natalie, for saying that. Good topic. Okay, what do you do? Your identity and the boundaries that you set because of that identity, they are dependent on your values. Okay, just in preparation for all of this talk, and like even in my coaching, I work with tools. Every coach has tools. Like, I'm just amazed. I love this coaching journey, being a coach and deepening my skills as a coach. And one of the tools I've developed for my clients is a program called Live Your Values Out Loud. It's a way of identifying what your deepest values are and being able to recognize them in your life, recognize where you're not honoring them, where you are, celebrate the places that you are, and take steps to deepen the areas where you need to live your values out loud. When you do that, you set boundaries according to these values. And then you realize perhaps why some of the boundaries are slipping, because the values are not deeply set, the identity is not deeply formed in that area, right? If you live your values out loud, then there are certain things that you will do and will not do. Let me just give maybe a simple example, right? I think one of my values is health and fitness. Okay, that's just one of my values. It's part of my identity, and I have boundaries around that, around what I will do and what I won't do. So, you guys, now this one will probably make you laugh, and maybe you're gonna give me suggestions, which I don't even know if I need, but let's see. Because health and fitness is one of my deepest values, okay, then I am going to even tailor how I look to make sure that I can have time for that. I'm going to make sure that I'm able to do my running, then just kind of jump in the shower, wash my hair, put in my lotion, whatever, and I'm good to go. Because the deepest value perhaps is not, I guess, to look like everybody else, maybe have the tresses and whatever, but the deepest value is health and fitness. If your deepest value is beauty or a certain kind of beauty, then you're going to go for that as opposed to going for even not being able to sweat all the time. That it's a value. I was thinking about this morning. All of these people who made all of these hairstyles for women never even considered that we would need to be working out, exercising. Like, what are we supposed to do when your hair is always covered and it needs to be like, what are you supposed to do? And maybe you might say, okay, Lisa, you just are boring and you don't have choices. Okay, I take that. But that's for me. That's one of my values. Another value is family. So if family is a value, then it dictates perhaps how I even show up on social media, what I'm going to show, what I'm not going to show, because I'm concerned about my family. And I'll make certain choices even about the kind of work that I do if I want to spend more time and privileged time with them. Does that make sense? Hi, Martha. How are you? Good morning to you. So, the boundaries that you set are determined by your identity. And your identity is always fueled by your values. So, I want to invite you to do this work for yourself this morning. I hope you got my little example of the ab wheel and it not fitting in, right? There might be a reason that you might be coming up against a person or not feeling right about an activity, or maybe in two minds about a job or even the books that you read or whatever, because it's coming up against your values. And you're like, everything about this is right, but check perhaps that the but might be a deeply felt or inexpressed value that you perhaps now need to acknowledge and identify, and that frees you. Now, it's not about, deciding or helping people decide that you should have this value or not. No, authenticity says live your own values out loud, whatever they are. And we're hoping they're good ones, obviously. Nobody wants to have a value of like maybe being a criminal, being a pedophile, or anything like that. I think we have like even social norms around good values and so on that sometimes they can help an errant soul. But for the most part, values are very individualistic, and you have to decide what your highest values are. So I do this exercise with my clients where we look at your top 5 values. And many times when we identify what these values are, not what they should be, forget should. Oh my goodness, who cares about should? It's what it is. That's where you start to live and to become alive. When you first acknowledge who you are, what you stand for. And the other thing, so when we do that exercise, then we realize why perhaps sometimes clients have trouble in certain areas. You guys, last thing about boundaries and identity and values is this. When you when you live your values out loud, there is that deep sense of authenticity, like is that becomes an essence in your life. Okay? Y'all know what everybody knows what essence is, right? So I recently got a package from St. Lucia, my home country. And I love banana essence, which we don't get. I don't see it anywhere here in Canada. Well, maybe it is. I just haven't come across it. But it's a certain flavor that it adds to things, even to juice. We used to have something called squash in St. Lucia, especially at the SDA Bible School. You always had squash, and the squash was lime juice, lemonade with banana essence. That's how it was done, right? Anybody remembers that? But here's the thing. Like, it gives it a certain flavor. When you live your values out loud, you draw a very distinct line between who you are and who you are not. You also draw a very distinct line between who you attract and who you do not. Why is that important? Because if you are wishy-washy, if you are straddling worlds, if you are unsure or unwilling to own up to who you know you are, then you're never going to have a true tribe of friends, of customers, of followers, of anything. If you live your values out loud, whatever you decide they are, you have a deeper sense and a deeper chance of living such a qualitative life with the best people around you who support you, who share your deepest values. A lot of the clients who come to me deeply share the value of authenticity, however it shows up in their lives, right? Authenticity is what, again, I go to CJ from the S2S podcast. And I love this saying. I say it all the time. I think I live by it and deeply get into it. CJ said that when you see somebody who has the it factor, it's usually because that person is fully comfortable with who they are. Fully. Your history, your culture, your skin, how you look, your race, your background, you are fully comfortable in it. And when you just look around at influencers, at the people you most deeply admire, you know them because they are so deeply authentically themselves. So that's one way to live your values out loud. And when you do that, the boundaries that you set, you can be more sure that they will stick because they come from a deep place of who I am and who I believe myself to be. And so you don't start from who other people are and what they want to do and put on you, or give to you or not give to you. You start from, this is me. And as we were saying, let me just put this up on the screen again. Instagram, you can't see it, but I will share it with you too. A boundary doesn't tell someone else what to do, it tells them what you will do. The thing about that statement, you guys, is that you also have to be sure about what you're going to do. And I think that is where we don't hold the boundary. We are not sure. So sometimes people, I know when I wasn't sure about my boundaries, I would prefer to just simply draw away from people because I wasn't sure that if I engage in relationship with you, that I would be able to hold that boundary. So I would just withdraw, block people. I don't need to do that anymore because if I say I'm not gonna engage, I'm not. If I say that I will, I will. I'm not going to. I don't need to have the extra, like barrier between you and I to say I'm going to block you or whatever. No. If I say I'm not going to respond, I'm just not. If I say that this is my time for myself and I'm not going to take calls, I don't care whether notifications are on or not. It's a value for me and I'm not going to transgress it. It's a boundary. All right, folks. So I want to tell you, last thing is, so let me stop sharing here. Stop screen sharing here. So I hope you join me on Sunday. Sunday special, okay? A long time ago in another lifetime, I used to be a television host, and one of the things I enjoyed was interviewing people. And just knowing, tinkering around in your head, what are you about, how are you doing, how do you do this, tell us the best parts, tell us the worst parts. I loved doing that. I met so many great people just doing those interviews on my live TV show a long time ago, Sunrise. And so I'm bringing it back virtually in the space. And my first Basement Chronicles live Sunday interview is a long time set. Stop it. There's my dog right there. You see that? He's hungry. Like, why are these dogs so hungry? Sit. Come on, sit down. He's going into training this weekend because he's a little unruly and we need some kind of control because he's so big now. He just changed colors and everything, you guys. The dog is huge. Anyway, I'm going to be having an interview with my longtime client. Let me just put up that right here. So you'll see it being promoted all the time. Sit set. Okay, so Donna Regis Prosper is the CEO and Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. This is phenomenal and this is seminal because she's the first female CEO and Secretary General. She's from my country, St. Lucia, and I'm going to interview her about all things tourism, about herself and how do you do it. She gets that question quite a lot. Okay, so if you're on Instagram, you'll see the promos come up. Join me on Sunday, this Sunday, the 17th of December at 3 p.m. MST. That would be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in the Caribbean, that is 6 p.m. A lovely interview from a different angle. She's usually talking just about work, but this time, because I've been coaching her for so long, we've developed just a lovely, relationship. And Donna is a beast, let me tell you. Like, don't let the pretty face fool you. I always tell her that. She's great at what she does. She is an absolute just connoisseur, an absolute excellent person in execution, in vision. And I think it's a beautiful way for me to start my Sunday interviews. So join me on Sunday for that interview at 3 p.m. MST. You'll learn a little bit about her. It's going to be an inspiration, I think, for every single person. Thank you so much. And don't forget, everybody, live your values out loud, whatever they are. And we hope they're good. But live your values out loud. Don't be wishy-washy. The confidence that we need in this world is to see people living their lives confidently, living their lives with just absolute certainty. that this is who I am and it is okay. So thank you for watching this morning, and I'll see you on Sunday.